Hi everyone, Bandanner here. So, we've had the news, we are getting the map editor a lot sooner than I expected because I was expecting it after the actual release of the game. So we're going to get to play around with it soon. But obviously I've got these nice big images with a higher resolution than the ones on Steam, so I thought we'd have a look through them together. This is my first time looking at them properly as well, so I figure we'll just discuss as I go and work out what's what if we can. There's going to be some assumptions, and it might turn out next week or whenever we get it that half of this is nonsense. But we can certainly have a little look through now and make some decisions perhaps about some of the objects and things on the maps. So the first thing to say is in this first image, I believe this is 3 separate images that have been spliced together, likely by Panzer or one of the other Eugen team members. The reason I say this is they're not perfectly lined up. So this one here on the left and the one here in the middle are almost perfectly lined up. But over on the right here, it is not lined up at all with the one in the middle. You can see the runway and everything is slightly off kilter, slightly wonky in the positioning. I suspect that this one was taken, the one on the far right, was perhaps taken separately. That's the only way I can fathom that in my head, and then it was put in after the fact. And then these two were perhaps done at the same sitting? We're going to assume that anyway. And I think these lines here have obviously been put on by whoever edited the image as well. The lines separating the 3 images, because they don't go all the way down to the bottom. You notice the window, they stop before the window. So I suspect that's the case. Though interestingly, the other images continue beyond the window. So, but I digress. I think what we're looking at here is obviously the road planning. So all of these green boxes and the green lines are the roads. So the main roads on the map. And that designates where a unit will move fast down the road. And then obviously the boxes are the junctions where they're merging and things like that. These red lines, I'm not so sure about. I wonder if the red lines are something to do with aircraft. They are in slightly strange positions. You'll notice they run all the way across the map here, and then back down this way, and then across there. They're very odd. The reason I wondered if there was something to do with aircraft was because obviously you have, when you tell an aircraft to evacuate, it has an evacuation route on the map. And I wonder if that's actually predetermined. I've never really questioned that before, but I don't know what else these red lines could be because they're also going in funny directions. I guess they could also potentially just be designators of areas of the map. It's very difficult to say. But you'll notice the lines obviously don't carry over onto the right hand side because that's just an image of the map without any of this stuff on. The area in the middle, I guess, is differentiating different areas of the map and different buildings and things. So I guess maybe the purple bits are obviously where there is a junction, where there is a join between the roads, and I wonder if that's like something that's separately been placed, because there's also one that goes straight across here, which I believe is a road that goes all the way across the airfield. So I suspect that's maybe being added after the initial map design, so I guess it makes sense that the runway would be painted on the map. And then these other bits could have been added afterwards to link it up. There is, I assume this is something to do with north and south and east and west and stuff like that. The green arrow. And then obviously you've got different types of fields which are marked differently. Obviously this is a brown muddy field. These are grass fields or whatever. Perhaps that's a wheat field that's more yellowy. And then you've got your blocks of buildings. Now, what I am unsure about is what that designates. So what is a red one compared to a pink one? So obviously red is definitely blocks of houses. Is pink an industrial building? Because there's more pink ones here. So maybe that's a differentiator of type of building. So red is housing and pink's industrial, and then the blue is road between them. But then these houses here don't have anything on them, if you see what I mean. So down here, all of these houses have that on, but these ones here have nothing. But it's obviously some kind of overlay, because you'll also see the hills and mountains in the background. And the blue. Not sure what blue means. What I'm curious about is the fact that there's... I guess that is that hill there. So I guess blue is raised ground. So maybe everywhere there's a bit of blue, there is a slight hill or something? It raises some interesting questions about the maps, actually, and whether there are more little hills and delves and stuff than you think there are. I'm not sure there's much more we can take away from the actual images themselves. There's nothing else specific. I'm not sure what these light green areas are in relation to the map. But certainly, you can see how the roads are laid out from this one at least. And you can sort of see how the joins are done for the junctions to other parts of the map. Like, that road's obviously been put on after the map was initially designed, I guess, because there's purple road all the way across it. I'm assuming at this point, but it kind of makes sense in my head. Then let's have a look at the UI, I guess, or what we'll call the UI. There's not much there at the moment. File, edit, items, scenery descriptors, camera, and audit. I mean, audit is going to be looking for any issues at the end, hence you've got a problem analyzer over at the left of the screen here. You've got unit creation and layer control. I guess layer control maybe is what allows you to see these different layers of the map. Over here we got the map buildings audit. So it shows us our district count, which is 680. Building models count, 141. And there's an interesting question. I wonder if these are like groupings of buildings, the ones that are red. So multiple buildings together that have already been merged. And maybe these ones are just individual buildings? I honestly can't remember from the map now. But I'd be very curious if the high-rise is a completely different colour again, if it's covered by this layer. This is all the different types of building models and stuff. And I dare say that when they release this, if you do a little bit of diving through all of these items that you can spawn, there's going to be a bunch of stuff that they haven't released yet on maps that they're planning to use at some point. I bet there's loads of stuff in there. I would also be unsurprised if there's stuff left over from like Steel Division as well. But we will have to see. The last thing I was going to look at, if I zoom right in, is this at the bottom here means off the map. I guess maybe that's snap mode, off the map. I wonder if that's something to do with like objects that have gone off the edge of the map. I'm not sure. Genuinely not sure. But that's what it says. The French says off the map. But lots and lots of items here. There's a huge list, obviously. And I'm assuming it's everything on the map. But let's have a look at the next image. Okay, so this second image. This is this is obviously the new map, which we haven't actually had released yet. At least I'm assuming that's the case, because it looks like a destroyed city. I've seen this in person. You guys haven't seen it yet because they haven't released it yet. Could be that they're going to release it with this patch, of course. But you've got a lot of sort of burnt out buildings and things. So again, I think we've got 3 spliced images. It's definitely 3 spliced images to some extent this time. I mean, obviously the box is cut off there, so proof if ever there was needed, it's a spliced image. This one is titled 3D Layers Audit, and the previous one was titled Vectors. Doesn't have a huge amount of meaning, I suppose, to me, but There you go. So on this one, we've got the map itself over on the left this time. So that's just the plain map. Then we've got what is obviously the, well, it's the roads basically, and all of the junctions, and there's a lot because it's a city map. There's a lot of pathing to do on a city map, I guess, when it comes to the roads, because you're going to move fast on all of these positions where there are lines, and then there are boxes around positions to designate other zones. And you'll notice at the top here it's got parking spaces. So I assume perhaps this huge box here means that vehicles will move fast across this entire area. Again, wildly guessing here. There's a lot more green boxes on this map than there were on the airport map. So I'm wondering if there's some meaning there. And again, I think this is sort of compass directions here. What's north, etc. on the map. And then over at this side, I'm not sure. There's a lot of these red lines here, but this time they're actually following the roads and things. So it says layer control, level build, level design. Oh, it's the AI strategy. So IA strat is the French AI. They call it IA. I don't know why. Intelligence artificial, I guess. I'm noticing the green areas here appear to be following the trees in some areas. So maybe that's what the AI use to decide where they're going to hide their units. That is a distinct possibility. Anyone with any other insight from previous Eugen games, please feel free to say in the comments. But I'm assuming that's what that is then. So any of this at this side. And then there's these green dots as well on various buildings. Have you seen this? These little green dots. They're not like the ones on the road and stuff. They're not like following the roads. They're like randomly on buildings. I wonder if those are like designated points that the AI will go to defend those buildings. Because they do say they have to code the AI for every map. So maybe they have to distinctly tell the AI what kind of positions they should be going for on each map. I don't know how their AI works, but that now raises that question because of these green dots. Because they're not related to the roads like they are here. This is different. So we're seeing water, fine, which is possibly that blue there. We're seeing sparse DB, whatever that is. We are not seeing the vectoral view, I assume that means. We are seeing navigation, road, district, and water with feedback. So maybe it's telling the AI where the roads are and things? So it stays within the red areas, rather than going off elsewhere for the most part? That raises a lot of questions about how the AI works. It really does. Maybe I should ask Eugen if I can sit down with one of the developers. Mind you, we might be able to figure it out from the map anyway, but that raises a lot of questions about the AI, if that's related to them. I could be wrong. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, but just the fact it says AI strat there, or IA strat, makes me wonder if this is related to AI pathing and stuff. And the fact that there are these dots. Lots of questions there. That one's got me wondering. Let's have a look at the next image. I can't remember which side we're going to. That was the final one, so we'll go to this one. Here we go. So, this one is... Ooh. Lots of red, lots of dots on buildings. So this isn't a spliced image, this is just a solid image. The title of this image is Level Design. Obviously, now we are seeing zones. We are seeing spawn points, the areas on the map where aircraft and ground units can come in. We still have our positional thing here for north and south, or north and east, I think this is probably. We've got the line of sight tool, which isn't really a line of sight tool, it's a range tool. And obviously you can add different things to it. So that's when you're designing the map, you can see how far your assault rifles can fire to get better building spacing. This is what they designed into this themselves so they could use it a little while ago. Now what I'm looking at here is I'm looking at the red stuff. And I notice there's a lot more red over there and a lot less red over here. And I'm just wondering why. So, level build, level design we're seeing now selected here. But the IA strat, or the AI strat, isn't technically selected here. And this time we're seeing roads, districts, water. This is scrolled down a bit. We're not seeing snap elements, we're not seeing ray trace, we're not seeing zone SDB. We are seeing FX models feedback. I'm not sure. I guess level build and then level design is the additional zones, I'm assuming. And then the strategy. Again, I'm just... Look at these buildings. These big tall buildings have little dots in them. It just feels like this is a... And there's so many in the middle, but less at the edges. This is the new map as well. And I'm just looking and wondering to myself, is this, again, where they're suggesting the AI go? Because there's lots of buildings. But some of them are highlighted and some of them aren't. And I mean, I know there's a lot of destroyed buildings as well, but even some of these look destroyed perhaps, but they're still highlighted. That one's not, though. Or maybe that's part of why there's not a lot here, because they're not enterable. Maybe a lot of the ones at this side are destroyed, and these are the few that you can actually go in still. Yeah, because if you look down here, the ones that are highlighted, you can go in and the rest aren't. But I'm still curious about the dots. The green dots make me wonder if that's some signal to the AI that they should go in those buildings. Because not every building has them. Like these ones at the spawn, none of them have them, but then this one here does. Assuming that's something. These two do. That one does. But then loads in the middle do. There's going to be some expert out there who already knows all of this. But at least you can see the zones and everything painted on. I wonder how much control we have over the shape of the zones and stuff. There's the water over there. We knew they'd added water in. Yeah, I'm sort of convincing myself in my own mind that the green dots mean telling the AI they can use that building to put stuff in. Because you can see the little green dots sort of over there in the middle as well. So maybe that is something to do with the AI. And this is item properties add-on. Alliance number, alliance priority. Name, phase. Position camera, starting points, camp 1. I assume that's something to do with the spawn location, at a guess? Or maybe where this is positioned? The north, south, east, west thing? So I guess this is the starting camp. This is really interesting. Let's have a look at the final image. So this is the final image, and it's called Assets. And this was what they referenced when they were talking about buildings and adding new assets and things like that. And I guess this is showing off the type of stuff you can place. Zoom in and have a look here. So, I mean, yeah, it's pretty standard stuff, right? It's like all the buildings, bits of road, bits of path, bits of concrete, little parks and things. I guess some things would be best placed on top of something else. But it's just giving an example of what you can place down, and this is everything that's placed in this area, I guess. So we've got town square modules, we've got specials modules, parking modules. And this is obviously a small selection here of what could be placed. But that appears to be what that is. But it does just show you can place them anywhere. I guess it's a bit like how you place the fob down at the start of a game. It can technically be placed anywhere. Okay, so that hopefully will be fairly straightforward to put down. It depends what the control is. But we'll have to wait till it's released to see. I am immediately going to do something to Rift to make it less open in the middle in places. Or at least make it more balanced in places. Sorry, Eugen. The middle of that map needs adjusting. There's nothing else really on this one to show off, so I think we've seen the majority of it now. But yeah, lots of questions raised about AI control in my mind now. If that stuff relates to the AI or not. It's the fact that there are buildings highlighted, which is fine, it's showing where the buildings are. But then the fact there's these green dots on some of them, but not all of them. Which then makes me wonder, well, is that AI instruction? I genuinely don't know, but it does make me wonder. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments, and I guess we're all going to find out pretty soon. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please do like, share, subscribe. I'll see you all soon for some more Warno.